Welcome to Learning Unit number 6. I can't believe we're moving so quickly through this course and will be completed before you know it. Learning Unit number 7 will be our last full learning unit along with the final course reflection. But on to Learning Unit number 6, and where we're really looking at cost and quality of care. So we're going to talk a little bit about value-based care, how we define it, whether or not it does actually improve patient outcomes, and whether or not it is being shown as helping to decrease or even maintain cost. So we know that healthcare costs have really continued to rise exponentially, and that is of significance to all of us. We're going to look at the national health expenditure to really help us understand why we need to look at ways of decreasing costs, along with the importance as we care for vulnerable populations in increasing accessibility to services in healthcare. So our overarching goal is to advance the health of all individuals through access to affordable, equitable healthcare, including both behavioral and social services. So concepts such as quality of care, value-based, or even low-value care, access to care, equitable care, and vulnerable populations are kind of all integrated into this learning unit. As we look at ways to reform healthcare delivery, what's been done historically, and a way forward. And while we focus on our country's vulnerable, including safety net health centers, federally funded health centers, we're also going to take just a brief look at ways to fund the care of our world's most vulnerable. So looking at cost of care and access to health care across the globe. So the social determinants of health continue to provide us with a foundation for meeting this goal of advancing health for all individuals, whether they reside in our country or in others. So you're going to be going through the learning activities of this week, and this will be where we complete our book, Compassionomics. We're going to finish with chapter 10 and the conclusion, and don't miss the conclusion. It is quite powerful. So you're going to participate in discussion 6, just the post. There will not be a reply. I will change this, please. And you're going to complete your flip video discussion number 2, which is the final discussion about Compassionomics. So you're going to want to complete your book, complete reading your book before going on to do that, and then completing discussion 6 based on the information that's included. So again, you're finishing Compassionomics, and then you're going to look at the articles links found within this folder. So to begin with, in chapter 7 of Compassionomics, the authors talk about how much our country spent as far as on healthcare. And they looked at the gross domestic product, and what the cost was back in 2016. And so I wanted to assure that you all had the most updated information. So in 2016, now this is according to, we're on page 210 to 211 of Compassionomics. Okay, I know this is chapter 7. We read that in a different learning unit. But to come back to that, the information that the authors shared was in 2016, our GDP, the percent that the U.S. spent on health care was, it was 17.9% of the GDP. In 2021, which is the most recent information that you can look at when you click on there, the percent of the GDP spent, it rose to 18.3. So from 17.9 to 18.3. What that meant is a total in 2016, a total of $3.3 trillion was spent on healthcare. And in 2021, that's up a full trillion. So these dollars are just, when we're talking trillions, that is just so significant. So from 3.3 trillion in 2016, it went up to 4.3 trillion in 2021. And finally, what does that mean if you have to bring the numbers down to individuals? In 2016, it meant that we spent $10,348 per person. And in 2021, that number went up to, we find that 12,914 per person. So you can see just even from the writings of Compassionomics how healthcare has risen exponentially. And if more money is spent on healthcare, less monies are available for other services. So you'll find just a quick update on the National Health Expenditure fact sheet that's included here. And this is an article that was written by Balance. It is a for-profit personal finance company, so keep that in mind. It is not a peer-reviewed journal article, but yet I believe it offers us a really good historical summary of government healthcare policy and our country's healthcare costs. So it gives us a chance to say, well, what were our costs in the past? How did they change? Which healthcare policy programs were changed or started, etc. So it's an interesting read. And then here's just like a one-page website that I just want you to remind you of. What is HRSA? HRSA, their Health Resources and Services Administration. So it's the primary federal agency that falls under the Department of Health and Human Services, whose goal is to increase health outcomes and achieve health equity through access to quality services, a skilled healthcare workforce, and high-value programs. So this just gives you that brief definition of it. And HRSA, as you saw, it is also looking at skilled healthcare workforce. So there are grants for instance, for nursing, nurse loan grants for if an individual wants to go on to take courses for nursing education, those kind of things. So, but that's HRSA, and I want you to read a little bit about them, because then we're going to be looking at these HRSA-funded healthcare centers, or health centers. So these services are often available for free, or they're based on the individual's ability to pay. Again, they're federally funded to help serve those with limited access to healthcare. And for instance, in the city of Erie, Pennsylvania, where Mercyhurst is located, Community Health Net offers a health center for primary care. It also, at that health center, it offers pharmacy and dental services as well. And just about a half an hour west of city center, Community Health Net also provides a school-based health center in Girard, Pennsylvania. And that service is more of a rural municipality. Girard is comprised largely of farmland, forest, and nursery land. So for those of you who are reside in other areas, what HRSA-funded health centers are nearby and what services do they offer. And I'll give you a hint, you might want to do this. Everybody might, because that will be something that we're looking at in the discussion board. And how do you find that? It's within this article, but you can click on this link. And then what is value-based care? What does it really mean? So I've included a definition out of this article, but I want you to review this. And then a very recent report, just I think last week or 2 weeks ago, came from Humana. And it answered the question. It was a report on, is value-based care making a difference? Both in patient outcomes, and they looked also at providers. So those are the articles that you're going to, or web links that you're looking at. And it really isn't as much as it appears, you know how those things go. Sometimes it's just quickly looking at some of these important concepts. Now, I said we would go from within our country to looking at it globally. And we're going to do that by an 11-minute video by Dr. Andrew Bastaromas, who is an ophthalmologist. And I think it's really going to, I found it quite interesting as far as how do we fund healthcare for the most vulnerable across the globe. So he gives a very passionate talk and a very interesting one about serving others. And the quote from him that I most enjoyed and was, a measure of our humanity is how we serve the most vulnerable amongst us. So that will give us a little bit more, just a brief glimpse of ways to fund healthcare for those across the globe. Here's your link to Compassionomics, your second and final video discussion that you're going to do. And it's not truly a discussion. I do not have you, you don't have to respond to another of your classmates, but I do recommend you read or watch a few of them. And it is, again, limited to 5 minutes, and you're going to see what the question is when you click on. In unit, and then the final is your post, no reply required, for your discussion board post. And it's mainly just giving us a summary of what you learned about value-based care and federally funded health centers. So what did you learn about these federally funded health centers? Did you know already about them? Are they new to you? Did you have a clear understanding of the definition of what value-based care is? And then just share with us where is the closest health center to you, or if not to you, to where most of or many of your patients reside, and what services are offered at the center. So again, no reply. And once you're done here with learning unit number 6, we're really going to move on quickly. I hope that you're finding it a beneficial course and one of learning and not just reviewing kind of common knowledge or things that you may have known already.